Welcome everybody to the April Aventri user group. We welcome you to our space to discuss all things Aventri, do a little bit of updating on what's new, provide a little bit of some training, and also to answer your questions. And so without further ado, we'll get started. Wanted to first let you know that there are two hosts and admins for the Aventri program here at ASU. There's myself, Laura Rutherford, a coordinator senior with the University Office of Events and Protocol, and then Steve McGillivray.
Hi, everybody.
Also with Aventri admin. We actually do work for the university. We are not employed by Aventri itself, although we get asked that question a lot. In today's agenda, we're going to talk about small business, future webinars, DMARC. We're going to talk about theme editor. We have some new information about theme editor and the sunset date and what's going to happen with that. We're going to take a quick opportunity to talk to you about the most common user mistakes. We're going to do a little demo on QuikPAY, and then we're going to save some time at the end for questions and answers. Just wanted to remind you that there is one more Aventri's Essentials class available on May 3rd. And if you want to register for that, you're welcome to. If you or anybody you know in your unit is new to Aventri, or you just want to review on the basics, this is the class that takes us through very quickly on how to set up a quick Aventri registration page. It doesn't get into every detail, but when you're done, you should be able to at least set up something simple. To sign up, you can go down to the links.asu.edu/Aventri ASU workshops and get signed up for this class. If you can't make it on the day of, just a quick reminder that we do record those, and they're available to you if you're registered to go back later and watch the recording. Just wanted to remind you a little bit about our ongoing DMARC email security. It's something we'll bring up again in the most common user mistakes. We get this question a lot, both input to us on Slack, in person, and also this gets sent often off to Aventri support. And so we just wanted to remind you that when you're programming your registration or marketing emails, that in the senders field, you do need to make sure that you have your unit email address here, and that you have that little extra a.asu.edu. Now, if you're using our most current templates, that a.asu.edu is already included and you won't have to do it. But if you're using an old template or something, an event that you've cloned 1,000 times, that A may not be present. And when you go to move forward, you'll get an error message that will confuse you, upset you, and think that you've done something terribly wrong. And in reality, all you need to do is go back and add that little extra A. Now, you need not need to do it to the reply to email. Only the sender's email needs that little extra A. That is an ASU requirement, comes from UTO, and so we are cooperating with them for that security measure. Now we want to talk to you about theme editor. This is the new information, or the information that we had. We already knew that it was going to be discontinued at the end of June 2022, but they have reaffirmed that date, and that we wanted to remind you now is the time to transition those legacy events that you've been using and the templates that you've been using to the current theme editor. We want you to do that now, and I'm going to show you that in just a moment on how to do that. And the reason is because after June 2022, all the cloned registration sites will be using theme editor only. And if you don't get this transition now, if it just jumps straight to, it's very possible that you won't get some of those bells and whistles that you've put in. It could really mess with the look and feel of your sites. So I'm going to show you the simple way to get this done. I promise you're going to just be amazed at how simple it is, and we'll move on.
Laura, before we move
Sure.
forward, I just want to clarify something so people aren't confused. So if you have a site that's live past June, it's live, you won't see any effect to an existing live event registration site. But once you clone it after June, at the end of June, then you'll be in theme editor. And we just don't want you caught flat-footed in the transition. We don't want you panicking after June when you see that you now have to use theme editor. So if you've got something that's going on now, or we'll have a site up soon that's using the legacy look and feel, you're fine. It will still work. Nothing will change as far as the look and feel, but this is coming. Don't be surprised. So just want to clear that up a bit.
Thanks for that clarification, Steve. I know I missed that, and that's a biggie. So now let me show you how we get this done. Now I want to let you know actually that if you go to our web page, that you're going to find that there's a whole page on how to do this. Okay, and it's in the how-tos, and it's how to convert an existing registration to the theme editor. So if you miss a step or you don't want to come back to the recording to find out how we did this, you can go to the Aventri at ASU.edu and go to the how-tos, and this will give you a step-by-step on how to do it. Okay. Now I cloned this event from an old pre-theme editor event. And when I did, I was asked the question, do you want to go to the new event emails beta? And I said yes, which is why this event emails beta is present. Okay. Now, how do we convert this? The first thing we do is I'm in the reg
Laura,
settings. Yep.
Before conversion, could you show them what look and feel
Sure.
tab looks like before?
Yes, this is how you know. So it has all these 4 elements. And when we're done, template and colors and fonts are going to go away. That's how you know that you have that you have the theme editor already enacted in your registration site.
So this is the legacy.
Right, this is the legacy. And when I'm done converting it, we'll look at this again and you'll see what the theme editor version looks like.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to advanced settings. And then we're going to go to general settings, click in there, and we're going to scroll down and we're going to click use event theme editor. This is going to ask us, are you sure you want to do this? And we're going to say, yes, we want to do this. Okay. I'm going to click save and stay. Now you notice that option has now gone away. Once we say yes, there's no going back. Okay. So we've converted to use theme editor. Now we need to go to theme editor here. See, now that I've converted it, it's only got the 2 options. Okay. We're in look and feel. And now we want to go
your themes.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to choose to go to Old Main. That's my choice. That's the picture I like. So now you can see that we have this lovely background image. And there are several background images that we could have chosen. Okay, we could have chosen innovation. We could choose a maroon. We could have chosen football. We have a salute to service, and we have a solid background. Those are just the themed, templated backgrounds. Steve is going to show you how to add your own background in a few minutes. Okay. Now I need to come to sorry. I'm going to go to headers and footers, and I'm going to delete the global footer, just like this. Yep, I'm sure. I save and stay that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to theme editor. I'm going to go into the custom code. And I'm going to delete all of these.
No, just in the custom head code.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get that last little code here in a second. Okay. So that's clear. Okay.
Now, don't forget, anytime you make a change in theme editor, you have to click the save button, including when you change to a new theme.
Yeah. Notice that my background shifted back. So I'm going to go back to that. There's my old main picture. Now, if I save it and I come back, it will, of course, be saved. Okay. Now, it's that easy. All right. And now step-by-step process is again in the Aventri at ASU.edu webpage, and we'll show you how to step-by-step find out how to do that. Just like that. And there's also a video that will show you. Any other suggestions, Steve?
No, I think you've got it. Just in theme editor, you can look page by page. This is almost like its own little preview of the pages. Yes, by going to page and selecting here, you can say what page you want to look at. And we are showing you the very basic changes to theme editor. All the ASU themes available to you have the same colors and fonts in them. It's just a different background image. And we provided these different background images really just to be a quick start. We kind of assumed that people would change the background for their own events. So that's why we just gave this a limited number of background options here as a starting point. Okay.
All right. Now Steve's going to show you how to download some of these banners and themes.
That's my cue for a quick switch of computers. It looks like I got caught in the same little error so you had. Let's see if Aventri is going to come back for us here. There we go. Okay, picking up where Laura left off with look and feel. So yes, you can customize both the background image and the logo here. You can also add banners here if you like. We covered this process in a webinar, our registration part 2. If you were attending one of those, you can always go back and see that demo here. One of the things I showed, which I will, one of these days, I'll get it on the website. These are the suggested graphic sizes of your images for backgrounds. And here are what those different background images are in our templates. Again, you'll see 4. The innovation, the old main, football and salute to service, and 2, that are just plain colored background. I think we do a gradient and a plain color background. You are free to use all those and customize those as you need. But over here is what you need for a graphic, a background image, a minimum size, a maximum size. Recommended to a JPEG format, which is a compressed format, so it loads quickly. And if you're doing changing the header logo or using the banner, this is the recommended size. And here I'm just showing you an example of what is the size of the ASU logo in our templates, just to give you a frame of reference. Now, we always recommend that people resize their graphics, create their graphics before they upload into Aventri. There is a way to make edits right after uploads, and I'll show you where that is. But to check the resolution of the image so it's not too large, to check the dimensions, to crop it the way you like, we just recommend or think that's best practice to do that in a photo imaging program first before uploading into Aventri. So I'm going to keep this so it's on the recording. Again, I will get this on the website so it's an easy reference for you. But how do you change the background image? Well, as you saw over here in the right-hand toolbar, this tells you the different sections you can go into to adjust the theme editor supplied. And I'm going to go into the background, showing me a preview of what that image is. And here are my options. So if I just wanted to get rid of this image and go for a color, I can just remove file and pick a very simple, any simple color here. Oh, that's a terrible color, right? Or I can enter, if I know the hexadecimal number for our brands, and I don't know this by heart, I'm actually got a little post-it note on my desk because I come back to it so often. Do note that a hexadecimal number here does need that pound sign in front of it, which I'm going to choose. So now I've got that, right? Or I can add a gradient. I believe I click on there. Oof, terrible. If I don't want that, I can hit the reset button and go back to what I had before the last save. Okay. But I want to change this background to an image. So I am going to choose a file. And this is actually one of our most common mistakes. We're going to cover it here. There are a couple of different ways to add images to Aventri. This is one way. And whenever you open the upload image area, either here or in an HTML content area, do not click the upload button until you are inside your unit folder. Yeah, I can go through the motions of uploading the image here. It will appear in my background for a while, but you will never see this image again. And this area gets flushed from time to time and will result in a broken image link in your registration site. So very important that you go inside your unit folder before you upload anything so you can find it again and you won't lose the image. So in this, I just have to search my computer for images. I can upload more than one at a time. Right now, I'm going to pick up these two and I'm going to upload my image. Now, one of these is 2800 pixels. This one is 1200. I'm going to pick the larger one. And I know these are about 72 dots per inch is the resolution of this image, and being JPEG as well is going to make this load very fast for me. If I was to look at the preview of this event now, there is my new background image. Right, lovely. Now, this is the first time I've tried this. I'm going to see what happens if I use a lower resolution than 1200. See if there's any difference on load time. A little faster. So dimensionally, this is a little smaller file. The smaller the file size, the faster it will load on me. So just again, to review, Yes, not that one. Yeah, so you can't have a maximum of 2800, which was the first image I showed. You can have as low as 1200 by 900. Then for faster loading times and the resolution, which is not listed here, I recommend 72 dots per inch or PPI if you're in Photoshop. That is screen resolution. Anything higher than that, especially around the 300 range, if you just download an image from the ASU Widen library, you'll probably get print resolution, which could be 300 DPI or 300 PPI, which is much more than you need for web. But so now I've made that change again. We hit save. Lovely. All right, so that's one thing that most people like change is the background image. So how do I change the logo? Again, we go into the header logo area, and this probably is the #1 image error of users, is to drag and drop an image into this area. Do not do this. Rule #1 of images is always load into your unit folder, and you don't know where this is going. And I can tell you, it's going to the exact same place I showed you earlier, outside your unit folder in that space that gets wiped out occasionally. So you'll want to use this feature down here, select the image from your database to access your unit folder. And again, I want to be inside my unit folder. Now, one handy little thing about this section of Theme Editor is you can actually add folders here. And the way to do that is to I created some folders out here on my desktop, and I can drag a new folder to this area. So if I want to do a little organizing in my, as I'm uploading, you can't move images around. I don't believe you can move images around. Let's see. I can go into edit here. This is the only place in Theme Editor where you can edit. Oh, hey, what you know? I can move things into folders. Lovely. Okay. But in any case, I'm still in my unit folder. So now I'm going to go back and grab the logos I want, or the logo I want. And I can do more at a time, more than one at a time. I think I can go up to 20 at a time. I'm going to put that in folder 1. So here's another place where if I wanted to resize an image, I can do it right after upload when I'm doing the header logo section. I can go into edit here, right? I can click resize and crop. And now I can resize the image here. Okay. This is the exact size I want though, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save and exit. If I want to go up a folder, I can simply click here. Now where'd those images go? I think they all went there. I don't think they went into folder 1 unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, they did not go into that folder. So when I'm dragging, whatever I'm dragging here is going to end up on this top level. Again, be inside the folder where you want your images to be stored if you're using this drop and drag folder idea. Anyway, here's my endorsed brand. I just click it, and now it's showing up in the header. Okay, so actually a couple of pieces of information here: how to upload it, how to edit if you need to resize it, and how to select it to change the header logo. Any questions on that? Or was there anything else I was going to demo before I hand it back to you?
I think that was it on this one.
Okay.
He'll be back in just a moment, folks.
Sure. Again, we do have a how-to on the ASU website, the Aventri at ASU.edu website that goes through this. So you have resources. And again, and also we're recording this, and as usual, we will post the recording of the user group to the user group website after the session's over. So back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, so now go back. We've looked at our theme editor. And now we've answered our questions. And now we're going to look at our most common user mistakes. We started by calling this the most common new user mistakes, but then realized that sometimes we're all guilty of these mistakes. So we should just call it basic user mistakes rather than new user mistakes.
Yeah, we've made these mistakes too. So
Yeah, so you're not alone. These are the user mistakes, again, that we see most often asked to us in Slack, in person while we're doing consulting, via email, and also what we see because we monitor the help channel to Aventri just to make sure that we are current on our training to see what people are missing in their fields. So I'm going to go ahead and stay in my what we just used to demo and show you some of these things so that you can see what they look like. And we've already talked about the DMARC email, so I'm not going to go through that again. What I am going to do is come in and remind you about the account level fields. You might remember in your training, we talked about the fact that we have event level questions and we have account level questions. So an event level question is something like this one. Your name as it would appear on the badge. Okay. Now that's an account level, that's an event level question, right? We don't keep statistics on that. It's something we invented specific to our event. It does not have one of these little blue computer signs, which means it's an event level question, and we can ask as many event level questions as we need to. All right, we can design them down at the bottom with the add a question. I think I've showed you all how to do that from time to time. This is the difference. The account level question, signified by our blue computer, is a question that carries across the accounts, all of the accounts for ASU. It is something that we use to collect statistics. It is an autofiller as Joe Brown, who comes to multiple events at ASU, goes from one college to the next, that he will have autofilled for him based on what Aventri has collected his data. So if, for example, you have prefix, this field is expecting a prefix. If you don't need a prefix and don't need to collect that, that's fine. We just remind you, go ahead and take the visibility off or even move it to the inactive questions field, okay? You can't trash it because it's an account level field and you can't trash account level fields, okay? But do not change it to an event level question. Don't decide that in the prefix that instead of that, maybe I could change it by editing to a question of, for example, what is your favorite color? Or what year did you graduate? Okay, because if you ask that question, next time Joe Brown comes in to register for an event, instead of Mr. Joe Brown, it will autofill for blue Joe Brown because blue was his favorite color. So that can be really confusing for your attendee. And for some of the vital statistics, that can really make a mash of our reporting. So we want you to be sure that you know that you are using the account level field for what you needed. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't clarify. For example, title, all right? The account level field, and if you hover it, it tells you what it's expecting. Oop, there it is. It's expecting title, okay? Now, if you need to clarify that this is their work title, that's fine because you have not disavowed the expectation that the system's looking for a title. All you're doing is clarifying that I need your work title, not your volunteer organization's title or your, I don't know, your nobility title if you're a baron or a baroness. Okay, so you can clarify, but you don't want to change what the system is expecting. Okay, and you might go through some of your legacy events because we've seen this happen and just kind of do a quick look through. Are all the fields what they should be? And if you have any issues or any questions and you need help changing it back, feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to help you get that done. We fix them when we see them, but only when they have been called attention to us. Okay. Now, one of the other one of the other questions we get a lot is how to clone. Okay.
Actually, Laura, before we leave account
Sure.
level fields, I think we should also mention some of those specially programmed fields that are account level. I'm thinking of the verify email address field, which tends to confuse, especially people who are new to the system. The verify email address field is specially programmed to just be a second look. It will actually duplicate whatever email address is entered in the email address account level field, which you normally see on the new registration page at the top there where it says welcome page on there. So verify simply duplicates what's entered in email address field to show it to the user again. Now, where have I seen some mistakes with this? Well, some people just get rid of the word verify and assume it's a second kind of email address field, not realizing that the user can change the address in the verify email address field, which changes the email address for that registration. So be aware of that. In fact, I think in our newest templates, this is again a legacy event. In our latest templates, we've actually deactivated verify email because it was causing such confusion for folks. Okay, so they are not two different email address fields. They work together. I've been in situations where the registration was set up to accept an email address field. They used verify email address on the inside, and that got changed. And the person had a ASU edu domain block, but people changed the email address to their Gmail account once they got inside the registration on the attendee questions page. It's like, how is that happening? Well, that's how we were showing people the verify email address field, and people took it as a chance to put in their preferred email address rather than the gatekeeping asu.edu domain. Another special account level field is what I call the CC email. I'm not sure if it's here, doesn't look like it. It's on inactive questions on this event, but there's a field where if you want to allow people to send a copy of the registration to a different email address, there is one. I think we've called it, there it is. It's if you'd like an additional email copy of your confirmation, please enter the email address here. And maybe, Laura, you just remind people how they can move any fields from the inactive to the active tab. But again,
Sure.
this is like assuming that there is an admin assist who is submitting a form on behalf of their boss, but they want to get a copy of it. They're going to enter either their email address as the attendee email address or their own, but somebody wants a copy. This is what you can use to send a copy of the registration to somebody else. Just move this to the active tab and activate it and give instructions.
And
One
as,
last,
oh,
sorry,
sorry, go
one
ahead.
last thing, because it's showing up here. I've also seen people who, instead of cloning our template, which has a lot of these fields already pre-selected and pre-activated for you, what we thought were the most common, they click the big blue button. And if any of you have taken our trainings, that's not a recommended practice if you want to get a jump start. When you press the big blue button, all these do not use fields will appear. In fact, all the account level fields will appear on the attendee info level. And I think some people get confused when they see all these fields available that they can use them, even though it's clearly labeled do not use. Again, if it says do not use, do not use. You can add as many event level fields as you like without screwing up the system. So sorry to interject there, but I just thought that was important.
Yeah, no worries. And just, people ask us why we don't want you to use those. They're saved for opportunities for new programming that we need to do with Aventri to our account. So it is really vital that you not use these because they serve a purpose. They're sort of account level fields in waiting, if you will. Okay. And as Steve said, you can move any of these inactive questions to the active page that you might need. For example, maybe your particular registration site needs to know the major program or the degree or a mail code or any of these kinds of questions, okay? So all you have to do is come over to the edit button Okay, here's your question. And right now you see on the page, it's in inactive questions. You can actually move it anywhere you need it, but we're going to go ahead and put it in the attendee information page. Go ahead and save and exit. And now if we go back to the active questions, we will find that question has been acted and it's down at the very bottom because people sometimes can't find it. So if I need it and I need to move it, I can totally move it wherever I think it would be most advantageous. Okay, remember any of these can be moved, dragged if they've got those double gray lines. All right, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I hit save and stay. And now that question has been moved to my site. Okay, so moving on to how we clone our templates. All right, now you'll remember that these 3 lines are called the hamburger. And if we go into view all events, all right, we're not going to hit our big blue button. This is the blue button that Steve was talking about. Instead, we're going to look at the folders that are within our unit, all right? And all of the units have this branded template folder. We're going to go ahead, go in here, and here's our most current template. So if you are not cloning a legacy event, all right, you want to start fresh. You want to start with all of the newest bells and whistles that we've incorporated into the templates with the ASU, latest ASU look and feel. All you have to do is come in here and you're going to clone this. We don't want you to use this because then this is no longer a template. But what we're going to want you to do is come over to the clone button, click it, and then you're going to rename this. You're going to put it in the correct folder. Okay, you can put it in any of these folders. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and hit submit. I'm not going to do that today because there's no reason to. Once you hit submit, then you're going to go ahead and fill it out just like you would a normal event. Or maybe I will do this just test clone. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move this into the user group if I can find it. There it is. All right, I'm going to submit. Okay, and now just like you had cloned an event and started from fresh, you can activate any of these modules, although most people do not. Come over to registration settings and start just like you would any new event. Okay, you can see because we cloned it, the look and feel is the new look and feel. It has the event emails beta, has our latest look and feel. It's got this basic look. It's got the innovation background that is the template, and you can get started from there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my theme editor demo and continue on. Unless, Steve, do you have anything else you want me to say about cloning the templates?
No.
Okay. So one of the other common questions we get, and we just saw it recently, was as you're doing your work in the site, you go away from your desk, you get a phone call, you go into a Zoom meeting, you come back, and all of a sudden, this has disappeared, and instead you get something that looks like this screen, which is not something that you've seen before. Okay, this is what Aventri defaults to when they timed out, and the timeout is about 30 minutes. Okay, so we don't want you to try to sign in here, right? If you do that, all you're going to do is lock your account up and it will cause havoc. And when you call support, if we're lucky, sometimes support knows how to get you out of this. Sometimes they try to do their own thing. But really, what we need you to do is we need you to go back to how you usually sign in, whether you've got that page starred, whether you need to go back to here and then log in here, and that will get you right back into your account. Okay. But we don't want you to do is use that blue account. That's not going to help you. There are a couple exceptions, and those exceptions are for people who are in ASU service groups. They know how to navigate that particular page. And for the most of you, that's not the page you need. You need just to go back to the beginning and go back to the ASU, the Aventri at asu.edu, or at the links.asu.edu/Aventri/login. Did I get that right, Steve?
I think that last bit is Aventri hyphen
Login.
login.
Okay. All right. And that will get you to your single sign-in where all you're using is your ASU right to get into the site. All right. If it asks you for a password, you're in the wrong place. And if you have any issues with that, please contact us and we'll help show you the way. Okay. Now, Steve is going to talk to you about uploading images and documents. Or we already have, haven't we?
I think you need to advance your slide.
I do. I do. Because now we're going to talk about QuikPAY.
Okay, that is my cue. All right. Well, thank you, Laura. And, a lot of these topics we're talking about today are things that we have seen either going over Slack or have been emailed to us with questions. And when we see enough of these together, it creates a critical mass. So we thought, why not just cover QuikPAY in general and also some of these specific issues we've had seen going over support tickets. So just going to quickly go over again, just reviewing the proper setup of QuikPAY. And if you don't set up properly, that can be one of the things that can cause your unit or your event issues when people pay. We also get the situation once in a blue moon of someone having an incomplete registration in the Aventri system. However, they have paid through QuikPAY. How does that work? Why does that happen? How do you fix that? I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to tour the QuikPAY refund account, which I think can do more than just offer refunds. And that, just to remind you, is that if you need to offer refunds in QuikPAY, besides having the QuikPAY account, which is programmed on registration, if you need to offer refunds, you have to have a separate QuikPAY refund account. And if we have time, I may talk about something came across asking for receipts for a credit with the credit card number included. So switching over to here. So again, proper setup for QuikPAY. I'm going to go into fees and payments and into payment settings. Now this is an event I already have set up, but I'm just going to delete and start over. If I'm starting from scratch, and again, I don't want to use credit card. Credit cards are from an older system, which we no longer use. We actually use QuikPAY for all credit card transactions here at ASU. So I want to add the payment method of QuikPAY. Okay. And then I'm asked which processor, and this is where I can find my account that that's been created for me. I put in a request for an account. I get notified by ASU Merchant Services it's ready, or actually they tell you it's been created, then it's handed it to me for programming on the back end. So all you have to do is find it and select it here. And it's always remembers what I had already had here. So I'm just going to go with the University Events Aventri account, which is fine. But the important part is down here under billing, you do not want to have any of these fields visible. We do not want anyone using this because what it's found, first of all, it's a convenience feature. Typically, it's you fill out the billing information here and it's transferred to the credit card portal. But what we have found is this actually interferes with QuikPay's ability to process and actually to get to the portal. So just turn those fields off. Never use them with QuikPAY. Okay. Just a reminder that if you need further setups, if you're only offering QuikPAY payment method to certain categories, if I had more categories here, I'd have the option to select them. I guess it's down here. So if I had other categories, I could be very selective on who uses this. This is true of any of payment method, is the ability to decide which categories can use it. But that's it. Just basically just selecting QuikPay, selecting my processor, and making sure all those fields are turned off. That is the proper way to set up QuikPay. Okay. And again, we do have this written up on our support site. If you need to know if your unit even has a QuikPay account, you can come to this web page and click on this link to the Google Sheet, be logged into your ASU Google account, and you will be able to review all the lists of QuikPay accounts that are currently programmed in Aventri, including what Workday accounts are connected to these different QuikPay accounts and who the finance person or contact is for that. And you can update your what Workday accounts are connected to your QuikPay accounts by going to this link here. Takes you to a ServiceNow catalog form for both requesting new QuikPay accounts, for updating account information, or deactivating. If you have finished using QuikPay, you haven't used your QuikPay account for a long time, but you're still getting charged the, was it monthly or yearly fee, you can have that account deactivated just by clicking that link. Okay, so now let's go to the second thing. Occasionally get an incomplete registration in Aventri, but your attendee contacts you and says, hey, I get this incomplete email, but I know I've paid. What's going on? Well, this is what can happen. So I don't know if you have ever experienced going through the QuikPay process on an Aventri registration, but it looks something like this. So you've entered the new registration page, you fill out the attendee info page, you've landed on the payment page, and then you just click make a payment. And at this point, you are transferred from Aventri into the QuikPay portal, telling you how much you owe, and the attendee would then go through the process of entering their credit card information and their billing information here, and then clicking continue. The next screen is a review, is like, this is what you've told us you are doing. Are you sure? Confirm or edit. So again, you confirm. Now right here, this is where problems can occur. If your attendee closes this window before they are returned to the Aventri site, this could interfere with the Aventri registration site, because after a minute or less, QuikPay will transfer people back to Aventri, and now Aventri will mark them as paid and confirmed. If they close this window here, they will interrupt that process and may be marked as incomplete. Now, why would they close the window? Well, it could be impatience. This could be an issue if people are registering on their mobile devices. If they saw this screen on a mobile device, they might think, okay, I'm done. Whatever reason, or it could be a technical issue, or internet issue, whatever the reason, if they stop here, that can interfere. But what do you do if that happens? Well, if they successfully submitted a payment in QuikPay, they will get an email from the QuikPay system with that receipt. Okay, and it will look something like this, very simple, from nelnet.net, okay, which will include their name, their confirmation number, which should be the same as what's on your records in your registration site, a certain code behind it, and how much they've paid. Okay, so my recommendation, if you're in that situation, have your attendee forward this receipt to you, and that is your proof that they in fact paid. Then I would go into Aventri and into the registrant list, and I would change the filter from default filter to the incompletes, or I would go through the summary report, which also lists incompletes. And then I would find that user here, and I can convert their incomplete into a complete. Okay. Now I have all the complete information, but I still have this QuikPay pending showing, which indicates they owe us an amount. I can do one of two things. I could simply go into edit of the QuikPay pending. Why is that letting me? Let's see if it's going to take it. Well, then you have to show it to me. I don't know why this is not working. Let me go back into it, a different one again. All right. What should be, there should be a way that you can just say, okay, this is no longer pending. It's now done. If that fails, though, you can add an additional transaction where you can make a payment. Now I can select. Now another word about this, whenever you have this kind of choice, unfortunately, QuikPay does not show up in any reports as QuikPay. It's a glitch in the QuikPay segment. So I just use the credit card payment just to say that is the case. Leave myself a note. Yes, they just owe me $1. And now I've balanced the books. Okay. Now, another thing I can do, if they don't have the receipt, they can't find the receipt, I could always go into my QuikPay refund account. Oh, lost the link there. Try this again. There we go. And find transactions. Now you're going to see my admin account, which allows me to see everybody's account. So if you're in a pickle and you cannot make a refund fast enough for people because you're waiting for your own refund account, you can contact Laura and I, and we can assist you. I'm just going to pick our Aventri account, and I can see all the transactions that have happened here in this QuikPay account. Here's the confirmation number, but I wanted to just point out something here on this account number. The first few 6 numbers, that is an Aventri event registration number. So if you're looking for something by event, there you go. You can search by that. This is the Aventri confirmation number or conferee number. So you can find that person. If you're searching for a person, let me go back to the default filter. Everyone's test here. Show me the money. I think this is the one I actually paid. Yeah, this is actually one I paid. So if I'm looking for this person, I can go to my web page. I just like to use the web browser search field. And there I have it. I've found that transaction. I can go into these details by clicking on that number here. Now, I've also used this for some clients. They would like a receipt that includes the credit card number. I'll come into my QuikPay refund account, go to this screen, print this out for them and send it to them. In addition with a copy of the receipt from the Aventri registration. Pairing that together usually takes care of most requests for receipts for organizations to prove it's to a credit card number and how much and whose credit card it was. Okay. You know, so with that, I'm going to, I think that's time for just our usual snappy answers, because I see we have about 3 minutes left to the session. So unless Laura, you object, you had some questions about QuikPay in particular, throw them out there. You can unmute yourself or post them on the chat channel. We're happy to answer any of your questions. I see him heading for the door. Okay, fine. Be that way.
Any questions? Can be about anything, doesn't even have to be about QuikPay.
If an email gets sent back, how do you modify it so it gets sent to the right place, to the right email? Let's say they misspelled an O and put a 0. How can you go back into the list and fix that?
So somehow you have found out that an event registration form has the wrong email address?
Correct.
That's your question? Well, sure. Since I've got the screen, I'll just do this, Laura. So what you can do is go into your event registration, simply go into the attendee who has the error in the email address. Under attendee info, click edit attendee info. And there's the email address field right there. You can update it for them right here. After you've made the correction, just hit save and exit. Okay, and that will update the record. Now, afterwards, if they need to get some emails, they want to resend the confirmation email or any other event emails, you can use the send email feature to then resend those emails to the correct email address.
What if this is only if how do you get the list generated right here behind you?
The registrant list is a feature under registration settings. The two best reports we've got in Aventri are the summary report and the registrant list. Registrant list is probably the workhorse report of Aventri. You simply go in there, it lists you all the attendees for your event. And this is what I call what you see is what you get when you click export data. If you need to export information out of here, you can click that button, download an Excel spreadsheet. If you want to see additional information in your registration site, you can click here or select edit new view, and then you can select which fields you use. But when you're in registrant list, you just simply have to click on the conferee number to enter the attendee profile. And this will tell you everything about the attendee, what information they provided under attendee info questions. If you have fees or sessions to select, it'll show you what they have selected. It'll show you the transactions that have occurred. And also it gives you an email history. So if somebody said they didn't get the email, you can come in here and see if it was at least sent. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Great question. We're a little over time, but I know I'm willing to wait a few minutes if there's anybody else. Question? Okay. I think we'll just close it up for everybody. Thanks for everyone for coming. Again, you will get an email when this video recording is available on the user group virtual lobby. And otherwise, if you have any questions, reach out to Lauren or myself or send an email to aventri@asu.edu. Otherwise, see y'all next month.